If I want to lug anything around the yard, you would imagine that James here would be the natural choice, but it never has been, because it just doesn't do anywhere near as good a job as Fred the Shed.
Fred the Shed, Fred the Shed, Fred the Shed, Fred the Shed.
A few days ago, I posted a video where I admitted failing at selling cars. I haven't so much failed myself, but failed as a member of a team where we sell cars. And if this is relevant, then I'll leave it in. Fred here is one of the cars that I actually bought with the company's money. It was bought as scrap and considered scrap by my colleague. Possibly colleagues, I'm not entirely sure. But due to its plucky nature, having a tow bar, being a diesel automatic and a tourer, I could just see so much potential. And so could many of my viewers. And whilst Boaty started his campaign of scrap Fred the Shed, I started mine, or somebody else did, of save Fred the Shed. However, desperate times come upon us, and all of the sales cars need to go. And as much as I want to save Fred the Shed myself, it's kind of become a bit out of my hands. Bless our unknown and secret banker, who has been incredibly patient. But we both feel we've got to start getting these cars moved, whatever the circumstance. And out of all the cars in the yard, which I must also point out isn't actually my yard, I just use some of it, it's not all my stuff here, Fred is the one that I would have happily just kept. In fact, had my circumstances been more favourable, I would have just bought this car out, because I have a proper soft spot for it. And it's not even a joke, I really do. One thing that wasn't going to happen under my watch was this car just simply getting scrapped. Not a chance. Do you know why? Beneath this rather scruffy body is a solid tub. That's right, nothing coming through on the sills at all. And then the other troublesome part of all 75s, almost, is the rear suspension. And this doesn't seem to have any issues at all. And to me, that makes this a really good start. And I don't mind a scruffy, unprecious car. It can be. Oh, in fact, the only reason this channel started was because of this car, which was so unloved, it almost got scrapped 3 times, and I just happened to get in the way. You see? And the general condition of Fred's paint is so bad that it doesn't even matter if you leave your cup of tea on the bonnet. This car doubles up as a van, where things tend to get put in there because I haven't put them away. Sold to me as a scrap car, simply because of this. The interior is a bit of a mess. Grotty bits everywhere. The seat's broken, the seat's fallen apart. The headlining is non-existent. The boot is typically damp. The rear lights have those problems that the rear lights have on Rover 75s. That's a bald tyre. It needed drop links doing. It had been somewhat crashed, scraped, just overall not looked after, hardly at all. The ABS doesn't work because of a sensor. And something else, easily this is the most viewed company car on this channel, because I've done many videos featuring it and I've used it so often to pull things around the yard. It has been the best car that doesn't belong to me ever. Originally I had plans for this car. It was going to be done up, MOT'd, and then we were going to use it for the purpose of towing cars around when we needed to do. Turns out that is actually something it's very good at. Now, believe it or not, I do an awful lot of work in the yard that I don't make videos of. The assumption may be if there's no video, it didn't happen, but actually it did. But with this car, I have provided some sort of evidence of me doing things on because I like it. The roof's okay for a cup as well. I did spend pretty much a whole day with a wet and dry vacuum cleaner cleaning out the interior. It may not look like it, but if you saw what it looked like before, spent a whole day knocking out a dent from the rear. And then another day filling and messing around and doing a job that isn't really complete. And the dent hasn't been removed enough because the gap there is way too big, as you can see. When I accidentally misread the fuel tank as being a quarter of a tank being enough to make it start, I had all sorts of problems. And if it wasn't for the help of Neil and George, this car would have been struggling even further. So the car has had a replacement fuel filter. It's also had a replacement fuel pump. The car has half a tank of diesel that the sender refuses to acknowledge. I spent all day struggling to fit a drop link and just about managed, and probably some other things. Thread. I also reattached the exhaust where it come undone and was dangling on the floor, and with a bit of welding I made it work again. So what's left? What does this car need for its MOT? As much as I fixed the dangly bit on the exhaust, the back box is blowing, so it needs that. It also needs a tyre. It also needs a drop link on the other side. It needs what's gone wrong with the lights, and it needs the ABS sensor, and possibly a couple of other things that I'm unsure about. But to me, it's not really relevant any longer. It's actually out of my hands, because from that video that we posted the other day, this is the one car that somebody wants. We wanted it enough to come the next day and have a jolly good look at it. And when I say a jolly good look at it, I mean a properly good look at it. Not just the sills, but the inner sills, because apparently these rot in places that you wouldn't know about. Chassis leg, all hidden by the wing, all covered up with that. So whilst it looks solid on the outside, the inside could be completely falling apart. Now, the chap who came down here to look at this car is called Rob. He's called Rob Bath. He's known for his love of Rover, and in particular the 75 Tourer. He and his wife also run a printing company called In a Class of Its Own, where they do all sorts of Rover themed memorabilia basically. So Rob and his brother came along and gave it a properly good looking at, so they know exactly what they're dealing with, and he's happy with it, and he's paid for it. And the money went into my account and then straight into the banker's account. So this car no longer belongs to us, and today it's getting collected.
Yeah, gearbox is due.
It's not the end for Fred the Shed, it's the beginning. Oh, it's the beginning of halfway through. Rob has told me his plans for the car, and he's going to have a nice, safe future, so we can all be happy about that. And that's the good thing here, that that's another car actually saved, hung on to, not scrapped for the sake of just making a bit of space. So I'm happy. I'm going to miss having the car about, but I'm happy with where it's gone. As ever, I'm going to finish by saying thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for not unliking this video. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for watching it all the way to the end. Thank you for being a channel member. Thank you for sharing.
Fred the Shed. Fred the Shed. Fred the Shed. Fred the Shed.